This is my experiment with the Inktense pencil in the color tan. On the right side, I use the color tan and just plain water. On the left side, I mix antique white with the tan and also plain water to dissolve the pigment. On the left side, you can see the white gives the portrait a bit more physicality, a bit more presence. It lightens the color, but it doesn't interfere with the essence of the color at all. On the right side, the plain water and no white, just the pigment, I think gives it a bit more of an old world look. You can see the shadows in a bit more intensity. I sketched this while I was watching Frances Haugen, Facebook whistleblower, testifying before Congress, and I really wanted to create a beautiful visionary portrait, but the expression kind of kept getting darker and darker, and it set off my thoughts in a lot of ways, and I'll describe that a little bit as the video goes on. The second experiment that I did was this. It did not work out at all. Again, I was doing this while I was watching the very long testimony on Congress, using the Inktense pencil in the color tan and no water, just solvent. You can see that the solvent makes the colors quite bright, a little bit garish. It changes the tone of the color quite a bit. It oversaturates it. This is also, I feel, because I used only the one pencil. There wasn't a lot of other pigment for the solvent to grasp onto. Normally, in my last few experiments where I used solvent, there were multiple layers of pigment and multiple pencils used, so there was a lot for the pigment to soak into. It made the paint malleable, a little bit like a pastel. Here, it was a disappearing act. It was very frustrating. You can see it if you care to see the example. Later, if you're thinking of doing something like this yourself, the pigment just kept dissolving and dissolving and dissipating, disappearing before my eyes. So again, the expression is a little bit dark, and this is something that was unintentional. It came out as I was creating the portrait. As you can see here, I started out really wanting to do a beautiful portrait of Haugen. As a female, this moment where we have a strong female come out with a great education and long work history within a company to speak out against the dangers that are facing girls and women due to social media and technology. This is something we've been waiting for so long. I really wanted to feel happy and positive and inspired by her testimony. However, the ambiguity that I was feeling when I was watching her testimony just kept coming out, and I think it appeared in the portrait before it hit my consciousness, as art will often do. It will communicate the things that we can't really articulate yet, or see yet, or understand yet. It's not something we're really in control of. So I struggled a lot, and I wondered a lot about the expression, and then finally I kind of leaned into it and did some thinking, and just thought about why is this testimony affecting me in this way and not in the way that I want it to, that I've been hoping and praying something like this would happen so long. Why aren't I happier? And I think that it's because I went through a process in my own workplace, former workplace, where I saw the reporting and the whistleblowing process weaponized and used to harm, hurt, destroy, and exile people. And that's why I wasn't enjoying it. And I was perhaps seeing and feeling things that, had I not gone through that experience, I wouldn't be seeing or feeling. I personally know how the reporting process within a workplace is capable of being viciously weaponized against a person based on the self-interests of a dominant group, with selfish or ego-based or cliquey motives. And the irony is, this process is utilized with the most severity when someone else blows the whistle or dares complain or question the practices that may be corrupt or dangerous that are going on within a stagnant pond. That's the irony here. And that's what was so disturbing to me about this. it's something so long awaited that someone will bring these attentions to light. But it's also like the sky is blue. The things she's saying, we all know. We've all read the research. We've all talked about it for many years. Why is this coming to light now? Who's behind it? And what is this reporting, this complaint being used to actually do? Because in my own experience, voicing a different opinion, daring to criticize, or not criticize, but voice an opinion that maybe the way things have done or something that's being done might be harmful to the youth or children. This is what brings on the full-scale warlike attack that utilizes methods of false reporting. You know, it's the witch hunts all over again, making up false accusations, villainizing, creating a campaign of rumors and lies in order to get rid of people who do not fit the status quo or the clique or the groupthink, etc. So it's just old hat, but that I think is what so viscerally affected me about this and made me a little bit angry that she's using the very process that many conservative people are using Facebook for, to voice opinions of dissent for the sake of our youth and our children. For instance, speaking up about harmful things that are going on in the schools, or for instance being pro-life, that kind of thing. Those voices may be silenced and shut down